I want to watch some new developments coming out of the Justice Department today. One of the folks who's been joining us on set, Charlie Savage, is now breaking news that the department is putting a new initiative into motion, targeting affirmative action in college admissions. So when asked about this report, a DOJ spokesperson tells NBC News that they do not confirm or deny the existence of any ongoing investigation and that the internal announcement cited by the Times is not a, quote, new policy or program announcement. Former Deputy Assistant Attorney General Tom Dupree joins the panel to discuss. Charlie is back with us along with Jill Colvin from the AP. Charlie, you got to go to you first. Your scoop, your story, walk us through the nuts and bolts of what this means and what this does.
Sure. So what's happening here is that the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division is asking current attorneys who already work there on other projects whether they would be interested in working on a new project that's going to be run by the political appointees out of the front office, Trump administration political appointees. And that's very unusual. That would involve affirmative action and college admissions and reviewing policies and college admissions that may be deemed to discriminate on the basis of race. Usually a anti-discrimination effort in targeting a university or a school would be run out of a special section, the Education Opportunities section, which is run by career civil servants who stay on in between administrations. And so one thing that's very unusual about this is that it's going to be run out of the front office. Right. And so it appears to be a new initiative that they're trying to redirect some people who are already working on other things to go after affirmative action policies that, in their view at least, go too far, cross the sort of blurry line the Supreme Court has drawn between efforts to help maintain diversity on campuses that are acceptable, which have to be sort of holistic and not too mechanical, and policies that go too far, put too much of a thumb on the scale for Black or Latino students who might score lower than white or Asian students. So
Tom, you've been in the Justice Department. What does it say to you when you look at Charlie's reporting here that this is going to be run out of the Civil Rights Division front office and not the other office that he's talking about?
Well, it tells me that there's a new sheriff in town. I mean, I don't think it should surprise anyone that the Civil Rights Division, both under President Bush, President Obama, and now we're seeing under President Trump, has been one of the areas of the Justice Department that, for better or for worse, has been politicized. And I think what we're seeing now is, in some sense, understandable in that you have a new president, you have a Republican president, a Republican attorney general, and they're shifting the enforcement lens a bit. In other words, typical cases that were brought under the Obama administration are not going to be an enforcement priority for Trump, and they're putting the spotlight in a different area of the discrimination laws.
Okay, but bottom line, is this a legal move or is this a political one?
It's a legal move, but at the same time, it's one that's informed by political judgments.
So it's both?
It's both. It's both, yes. And I think part of it does go to the fact that the Supreme Court has not spoken clearly in this area about what universities can do and can't do in this area. And so I think that gives a fair amount of discretion to the administration and to law enforcement to look at programs and say, in our view, this might cross the line.
Charlie, what's the reaction inside the DOJ to this, based on your sources?
Well, so the bureaucracy, the sort of people, especially in the civil service, who've been there throughout and were there under the Obama administration and chose to go work in the Civil Rights Division, so you can imagine they're largely liberal, of course saw this initiative coming and this project and were sort of aghast. Like, this is not what the Civil Rights Division is here to do. It's here to help
moves on voting rights, gay rights, some other moves that have been made as well.
And we've seen this movie before. I absolutely agree that this agency in particular is a place that is frequently the subject of culture war battles when a Republican administration replaces a Democratic one, and then when a Democratic one replaces a Republican one. And so one of the points I've been making is, in the last 150 days, we've been focused on bizarre things that are happening because Donald Trump and the sort of menagerie of people has around him are doing odd things. This is not, I think, necessarily one of those things. This is something that we might have seen under any Republican president. Certainly under George W. Bush, there were also battles of this type between the sort of liberal bureaucracy and the political appointees.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.